Someone is gonna die when you listen to me. Let the living die, let the living die. Say, wake up when you're alive when you listen to me. I'm gonna talk about some freaky shit now. Someone is gonna die when you listen to me. Let the living die, let the living die. Say, are you breathing now? Do the wicked see you? You still breathing, you're making me proud. Are you breathing now? Do the wicked see you? You still breathing. So what's up? I wonder why did you listen to me? I'm gonna make it this a vacation now. Insane, you're gonna die when you listen to me. Let the living die, let the living die. Say, what's up? I wonder why did you listen to me? I'm gonna make it this a vacation now. Insane, you're gonna die when you listen to me. Let the living die, let the living die.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's been far too long. Now, for those who don't know me out there, don't worry, you will soon. And for those who do know me, we've got work to do. For it's the one constant that happens throughout our lives, ladies and gentlemen. There is work to do. Always more work. But you know what? We're going to leave the more pseudo-serious stuff until later on. Because right now, we're not here to get overly that serious. Because, ladies and gentlemen, we're about to begin with the Randy Orton of thrash metal. The apex predators of thrash, Metallica. Quite possibly in their prime. On possibly one of the single greatest albums in the metal. Could you call Master of Puppets one of the greatest albums ever made? Well, it's personally not my... It is technically one of my favorite Metallica albums, but pushing it really high, I'm not entirely sure. I'm really confused. There's a lot of... It's because of what we know is going to come up later on, and also what's come before it. But you know what? It is what it is. So, let's get started. So, if you guys want to check out the original video for yourselves, links will all be in the description down below. Let's get started. Battery. In 3, 2, 1, and... I've got to turn this up, mostly because of anticipation, mostly also because for anyone who knows what's coming, you know guys, you know what's coming.
Crushing power of the divinity, whipping up the fury, dominating flurry. We create the battery, smashing through the boundaries. Lunacy is bound, being cast on the battery. Rounding out aggression, turns into obsession. Cannot kill the battery. Cannot kill the family. Battery is found in me. Battery. 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 Battery.
Need I remind you, ladies and gentlemen, is that is how Master of Puppets begins. Imagine, if you will, picture this, ladies and gentlemen. It's 1986. Down the street you were going with your Walkman and all that, and also you had your mobile phone the size of a small house in your hand, and then all of a sudden you hear what sounds like. I don't particularly think there's a very specific word for it, but let's say a Mexican sort of guitar just dun, dun, dun. You immediately think to yourself, wait a minute, have I bought like the wrong tape? This does not sound at all like Metallica. Then a minute kicks in and you get this. Let's see if it is like technically a minute. I'll go to like I think there has to be a phrase for something like that. Maybe we should just call it the Kirk and Cliff Dawn chorus, because well, what else could you call that? That sounds like that's the moment you begin to realize, oh, wait a minute, here they are. Now they're just getting started. Maybe they just let James play acoustic for a little while, just while they're getting his guitar ready, and then boom, the fuse is being lit, and this song absolutely blows up. It goes, and here's something I've actually never discovered before about Battery, is that, well, actually, for some of the greatest of Metallica during the 80s, is that they would have a solo, but they would do like a little premonition, a little bit of a preparation for the solo. I mean, tell me what you guys think about this. Like the way this begins, and then like it's kicked into overdrive at one point. Tell me if you can, if you're like me and you can actually pinpoint the moment, because I'll play it again for the benefit of you guys at home. Like, what the hell did they do to that guitar to make it sound like that? There are some things in this world I am honest to God, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to admit to you right here, I will never fully understand. But sometimes it's good. Sometimes it's great, in fact, in life to not understand. To know that this sounds as awesome as it does is just about what it should be about. I think that's what it should be about. And to quote Paul Weller, one of my favourite players of all time, the more I know, the less I understand. Which is not a bad philosophy to go on, I must say. Technically, I think the line is, the more I see, the more I know, the less I understand. But whatever. Getting to Battery's lyrics, however, is just about any veteran thrash metalhead will easily tell you is that it taps into an unknown well, actually I'd say an unknown market, but it was something that Megadeth were introducing in '85 with Killing Is My Business, lashing out the action, returning the reaction, weak are whipped and torn away, hypnotizing power, crushing all that cower, battery is here to stay. It's a very violent song. It's a song that almost it encourages the use of violence. The idea is that the battery is this great power, that this source that fuels oneself with violent tendencies, with energy. And like if there's any particular moment, ladies and gentlemen, where you just sort of like want to literally lash out at the world, like push somebody or swear violently in front of your boss, this is like the song that gives you the courage. It's like the devil on your shoulder, but he's got a guitar and he tells you exactly what you ought to do. Which is, to be honest, that's a good and a bad thing. I mean, crushing all deceivers, mashing non-believers, never-ending potency, hungry violent seeker, feeding off the weaker, breeding on insanity. And it is insanity, ladies and gentlemen. Think about it. Fueled by nothing more than homicidal tendencies, simply because you're having a bad day at work or anything like that. The idea that making other people suffer is as insane. The idea follows that you want to make sure that other people suffer in the same way that they've made you suffer. An eye for an eye, as the old saying goes. Now, despite all of this, verse 3, circle of destruction, you end off as miserable as when you began, because despite all you've done, it hasn't technically solved anything. In fact, you've probably just fueled the fire even more. Hammer comes crushing, possibly in reference to a jail sentence. Powerhouse of energy, jail. Whipping up a fury, dominating flurry, recreate the battery. That is beautiful. Everybody has a battery. Everybody has a storage in which all violent thoughts, every single bad thing we want to have happen to people, it's churned up and is brewing inside our heads. This little store of battery, possibly right next to the amygdala. Possibly, I don't know. And this thing is not fueled by an Energizer bunny, but it goes on and on and on and on until finally, with no, I want to say, technically no healthy way to exercise your anger, this brew begins to froth, foam, and overflow. And that is when the red mist descends. And in that red mist, you could be goodness knows anywhere. And that could be the beginning and the end. You could be, as the mist descends, you could be literally in the exact same place. Only the distant difference is that everybody you've seen around you is now hurt because of what you did. What are you going to do, ladies and gentlemen? Are you going to break the cycle of destruction? Are you going to try and use your anger to fuel your life in a better direction? Do you want to do something in spite of someone? Is that when you want to do it? Or do you want to use it to spite someone else? Your choice, ladies and gentlemen. We all have a choice. And bearing in mind, ladies and gentlemen, Battery is not even... I wouldn't even put this in like the top 4 of songs on Master of Puppets. And if you think you know exactly what I think of everything else that's about to come, you might see something quite different. So I hope you guys have enjoyed this video, ladies and gentlemen. Please let me know what you thought of Battery for yourselves. And I hope to see all of you guys again in the next reaction video. It feels so good to be back.